Thank you, Chairman. We're now in the second week of President Trump's illegal war against Iran with no end in sight, and I fear the longer that this war goes on, it will have lasting impacts on the readiness of our military to respond to crises and threats elsewhere. Meanwhile, this administration is hiding its incompetence behind the valor of our military men and women, as if questioning why we're at war is equal to questioning the valor of our troops. We all know that that is not true. I know that our military will always do the best and most professional job possible. But that means that we here in these chambers, who are the elected representatives of the American people, are beholden to do our job and make sure that this is the right war, one that is worth our troops' sacrifices. And we can't forget that that sacrifice extends to our logisticians and support staff, as we've been tragically reminded by the 6 soldiers of the 103rd Sustainment Command that we lost last week. Any time that we conduct significant military action, especially on this scale, we must understand the demands that it puts on our military. By choosing this illegal war, one that he still cannot justify, Trump has put our service members at risk in completely unnecessary ways. 7 service members have been killed. 7 families had to hear the worst news of their lives. And the department has now confirmed at least 140 service members have been wounded, 8 severely. And with the expansion of this campaign, including to overhead air operations within Iran and possible naval escorts, our troops may be at even greater risk going forward. General Reed, Transcom has been working for years to modernize our global patient movement enterprises for the complexities of large-scale combat operations. Can you explain the challenges that our medical evacuation system faces in transporting critical care patients when airspaces and maritime routes are contested, as we're seeing currently happening in the Middle East?
Senator, initially what has to happen is we need to put the entire system in place. That requires us to forward stage teams, not just the teams that will provide the care, but the teams who actually provide the scheduling and the teams who have the initial communications with higher level facilities along the route. Sometimes we have to put those in place in an environment that's contested, and then they continue to serve throughout. But that is done in concert with the theater commander who provides the force protection. And then once the scheduling begins, we then put the aircraft in place at the point in time of need. It requires that the patients are stabilized, and once they're assembled, we pick them up, and then we fly them out. We also depend on force protection to clear the airspace so that the aircraft can get to the next station. And then also important for us is the permission to overfly so that we can have the shortest and the fastest routes.
So to summarize, it's incredibly complex. We need to make investments in the system. And there's a lot more work to be done, but you're doing the absolute heroic best with what you have. Our wounded service members and logistics professionals now face the realities of medical evacuation in an airspace, as you've mentioned, contested by missiles and drones from the enemy. I don't believe Trump considered these risks when he chose this war without understanding how it would spread in the region. And I know they're not investing in medical readiness in the Indo-Pacific, where despite the real possibility of military conflict, actually in our national interest, we have actually less medevac experience and much greater distances to cover. Similarly, it's the same situation in Africa. Even before this war, the department underinvested in our medical evacuation system, which is why I've advocated for years to give Transcom and the services the resources that you need to rapidly adapt to future contested environments. These gaps will only widen as we continue to strain our system. General Reed, can you speak to the importance of secure connectivity and the potential impacts, both logistically, for logistical support, but also its potential impacts on existing gaps to this essential medical evacuation mission? You and I discussed this a little bit the other day.
Yes, Senator. What's important is making sure that we can pass the information on the status of each person that we attend to. Being able to make sure that information gets established at the point, but also forwarded to the next station. That way we can have the proper physician with the proper care and proper equipment to tend to them. As we continue to press for more secure communications, then we will make sure that there is no drop in the care.
Are you facing some challenges right now?
We are facing challenges in terms of secure funding.
Okay, thank you. This administration's inexcusable poor planning in the lead up to this war of choice has only exacerbated the toll on our logistics system. General Grinkovich, I would not ask you to speak to current operations, but in your experience, do you agree that coordinating with allies and partners before an operation is critical to ensuring that our air assets have the necessary logistical nodes for rest and refueling to reduce the strain on our aging aerial refueling tanker fleet?
Senator, there's always a balance in terms of when you do the coordination. If you have the luxury of it based on operational security concerns to engage with allies and partners and secure access, basing, and overflight ahead of time, that is incredibly valuable. But there's a host of factors that may limit your ability to do that.